What's up, world? Welcome to the Brotherly Mix-Up Podcast, where commentary, debates, and beats collide as two brothers try to break it down like nobody else can.
That's right. I'm the opinionated one, Kwesi.
And I'm Kwaku, the one that's here for the ride.
We're here to bring you the hottest discussions, the freshest takes, and the most electrifying debates straight from the heart of the culture.
Each week, we dive deep into the rhymes and reasons of life, from the streets to the sweets, pop culture, and everything in between.
So whether you're just vibing out or just looking for some real talk from some real brothers, you've come to the right place.
Yes, sir, because it's about to get real. This is the Brotherly Mix-Up Podcast.
Sit back, relax, and check the rhyme and reason with us. Let's dive in.
If Kendrick didn't drop anything and let Family Matter stay the night, we may have been looking at a different battle. I think
You're saying Kendrick heard Family Matters and he was like, damn, get in the booth.
No. I think he was like, if Drake drops tonight, I got one for his ass 20 minutes later. Whatever Drake drops. He may have even heard it, because even Family Matters, to go from Family Matters to Meet the Grams, he may have heard the track, because that's like too ironically named. They're too close for him to not have known that was coming. But what I'm saying is, it was able to stop the momentum of a Drake kill switch.
I don't think
I think
that
so.
Family
Man.
Matters was a kill switch. I mean, he may have thought it was going to be.
That's what I'm saying.
But I don't think it was enough.
Yeah, I'd like.
Yeah.
So okay, so cool. That's your personal feelings about the song itself. We don't.
Because it was too divided.
Exactly.
There's no way.
But I think in Drake's head, he thought that was all he needed.
And that's what I'm saying. He was.
Realistically speaking, I think he needed more also. But what and I don't want to misconstrue him. I don't know, but it feels like in retrospect now, after I heard everything, because even in the Heart Part 6 that he dropped after Kendrick snubbed him and then dropped Not Like Us, the 2-song piece he dropped on his head, in the Heart Part 6, Drake just felt like he was playing cleanup. He was like, damn, I had to really come back to the studio and record. All right, let me just dispute everything you said in the last song, and then I'm out of here. Like, that told me he didn't have anything else.
And that's the part from the very beginning that I was telling you about. This was never about like what was the song that kicked this off? Like This or
Like
was
that.
it Like This?
Like that.
Like That. It was never about Like That. It was never about push-ups. It was never about, what was the first Kendrick thing? Euphoria.
But you didn't.
It was about songs. It was about songs 2, 3, and 4.
I don't remember you exactly.
Drake should have looked like
numbers, but go on.
No, I'm just saying, like, the responses to the responses to the responses is what I mean.
I don't remember you saying specifically at what round or response area it would end. I really don't recall if you did say that. I don't recall that. But
I didn't say it was gonna end. I was saying, like, that's where the meat of this was gonna,
that's what I'm saying. I don't remember that.
where it was gonna be important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I think that's where he messed up, because he should have looked at this like it's the fourth quarter, you're down 10, and there's 30 seconds to go. Instead of, lollygagging his way through. He was rapping, but he was still lollygagging his way through because he had no information. He had nothing. Zero. And then he intentionally, I think, divided his attention because, like you said, I don't think he thought Kendrick was important. I think he had more smoke for Metro, for Rick Ross, for the Future stuff is where he was underrated, because he was throwing lines out there that a lot of people did not know was towards Future. I feel like he put more importance on those guys than he did Kendrick. And it wasn't until Meet the Grams and Not Like Us did he finally say, oh, damn, I have to pay attention to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't stack up.
I'm just gonna call you hypocritical. You could dispute me back. Just on one point. I remember our discussion when Push-Ups dropped. And I could have been reading this the wrong way, but you did say verbatim that like, nah, Drake is ready for. You said this verbatim, but maybe I read your intentions of the statement wrong, right? But you said this verbatim.
Mm-hmm.
Drake is ready for Kendrick because why
Mm-hmm.
else would he tease him at the end of the song to drop?
Yeah, because I didn't think
Let me say real
he
quick.
thought.
I'll let you
Okay.
dispute it. I'll let you dispute it. Let me finish this. So again, you could just when you dispute it back, you could tell me it's not a hypocritical statement because of whatever reason you have. But I just think it's hypocritical because now you're telling me he wasn't ready when you were trying to convince me. At least that's what I was assuming that he was, because then why else would he tease him? And I'm just gonna say that's a double fuck up on his end. Cause it's like you did this whole AI and you talk junk and you wanted him to pop out.
Oh, I forgot about that. Uh-huh.
And then and then he popped out and you wasn't ready.
So
The floor is yours.
the reason I said that at the time was because
We was in it.
he thought like I said, Drake doesn't respect Kendrick's ability to make music
That's
for
what
whatever
I'm
reason.
about. I don't know why he thinks that.
Yeah, for whatever reason. So that's why I said he was ready, because I wholeheartedly believe he didn't think Kendrick. I don't think he believed Kendrick was like a battle rapper,
Mm-hmm.
because
Never did.
there's no history of Kendrick. Yeah.
At least not on
So that's
Playground.
why I said that.
'Cause he
Yeah,
used to do
that's
it
why I said that,
on the
because
Playground.
if you really look at Drake's career and who he's had issues with, he doesn't necessarily go at people that are, except for Pusha, that are like battle tested.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. And every battle that he has lost, it's against people who were battle tested. The Pusha stuff, you could say the Common stuff. I don't think he really had an issue with Jay-Z.
Two things real quick.
But
Before I lose it. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to cut you off. I just don't want to lose it in my head. You consider Common a win?
for Common,
Yeah, I consider it a win too, but the fans are gonna tell you no. The same people we shouldn't be listening to. But anyway, and then two, because I was gonna lose this. I Meek was battle tested.
eh,
Meek was battle tested. It's just that for Drake, it's like playing chess against somebody who knows how to play checkers.
eh, I mean, you could say that, but I don't think I wouldn't necessarily consider him battle tested because of where the battle was happening. He's good in the streets, but this is
Yeah, it's
worldwide
high profile.
stuff. Yeah.
I don't know. He battled Cassidy. I don't know. I think Cassidy beat him, but like he did put up a good fight against Cassidy. Who else did Meek Mill fight? Meek Mill did a couple.
Plus, I think battle rap is completely different from being in a beef
Mm-hmm.
in like the national media,
Mm-hmm.
because in battle rap you're allowed to go low. You know,
Real
it's
quick.
expected. I was just gonna say, there's certain things in battle rap you're expected to do and are able to do that you can't do on a national stage.
I think on a national stage, hitting below the belt should not count. And when I say below the belt, I mean like extremely below the belt, like where Drake and Kendrick went. I think that shouldn't
It's not.
count, right?
So you're saying it shouldn't count?
I think it shouldn't count.
Okay.
Like saying somebody's a pedophile and then calling somebody a woman beater shouldn't count,
Okay.
right? Just because we're on that current thing that you're talking about, I think Meek has crossed the lines in battle rap, but I don't know if he was expected he had to do it if the song is gonna play on Hot 97.
Okay.
That's just what I think. Plus, I think it was also, again, no offense, I think Drake didn't see Meek as too smart at that time.
I don't think he thinks anyone is. That's
And
his
that's his
problem.
character flaw,
But yeah.
yes. Right? And I just think he knew how to, finish off Meek quick and done. Because he's like, all right, Meek is just going to be swinging like recklessly. I could just, hit a couple like targeted points and then I'm out. Because if we're being honest, like Meek kept responding to him. Drake did the 2 tracks and then he was done. Like he didn't come back. Like it was kind of sad. Like he did the two joints back to back, killed essentially, kind of messed up Meek's career for a bit. And Drake just dipped on that, and Meek responded to him like 5 more times on record, and Drake was already done with it
Oh,
at that
wow.
point. Yeah,
I just heard that one terribly mixed song, and that was it for me.
yeah, and that's where everybody dropped off. But he came back at him still 5 more times or 4. And then I guess I don't know if he realized it wasn't going nowhere or if they squashed it behind the scenes, and then that's why Drake ended up on the newer song when Meek's career had a second battery put into it. What was it the Gone Bad song that was everywhere?
Mm-hmm. Is it Gone Bad or Rico?
No, Rico is what started the beef. Gone Bad is after they pieced it up.
Oh, okay.
I want to ask 2 questions real quick. So I know I said I asked to drop one, so you kind of answer because I think what did we chalk that up to? That we were just in the middle of the heat of the battle, and then a lot of, and that's what I'm saying. In retro, you could look at all this stuff in retrospect, and I just feel like, yo, this man Drake is a clown. But in the middle of it, I thought like, damn, man, like he's coming. Pause. I was gonna say, for this beef, right? My question was like, because you keep criticizing Kendrick for using people's points.
I mean, it's valid. It's yeah. I didn't like the song because I didn't like how it was constructed, and I didn't like the fact that he used at some points in the song things that Pusha T said.
So I also want to point out another hypocrisy in your statement because I don't know, like I know Pusha T made it popular, but if it's a point that hurts Drake, why not still use it?
Because it's been used.
But it's been used since he came up, so I don't think we could credit Pusha for coming up with it. I think we could credit Pusha for taking it as far as it went.
Okay, fine. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Because let's say that. Whoever brought it up first, let's give them the credit.
Mm-hmm.
But we've heard that. We were hearing that stuff since like 2010, 2011.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would have liked to hear something different because, especially since that's like Kendrick's response to push-ups, right? I would have liked to have heard. Let's say, what was the other song after he did that?
Who, Kendrick or?
It was Meet the Grams. Kendrick.
Push-ups?
Yeah. No. After Euphoria.
After Euphoria,
it was Meet the Grams, right?
In LA, and then Meet the Grams.
Okay, so I would have preferred if it was 616 as the response instead of Euphoria. You see what I'm saying?
Are you saying you wanted new information the most?
Yes.
Like T, essentially. I'm gonna
say not just T, but like new insults.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if you want to continue your opinion, because then I got something I want to say.
Yeah, that's it.
So, my opinion, don't think we have to hear anything new for it to be a good insult.
So you think it's fair if, let's say you got a problem with Joe, you think it's fair if Harry uses everything Joe said against you?
Yeah, if he's able, in my opinion, if he's able to take everything Joe said, but say it in his voice, his own way, no issue.
Okay, so the reason I didn't necessarily like that, and this is where I thought Drake was gonna go, but I didn't like it because if you're just telling me the same thing the other person was telling me, it's not gonna hurt me anymore. As far as I'm concerned, it's okay. And you got anything else?
The funny part is I think it did hurt him, which is why he misstepped so hard.
I guess that's one of his flaws.
Because again, this is my opinion. This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like, if it's his weak spot, I'm poking it, regardless who said it before me. You know what I mean? It's like it's like if you know when you're like a boxer, it's like you know that this guy has a glass jaw because like people have been hitting him over the years. I'm hitting that jaw.
Well, then maybe
The
it's a
bell ring,
comment more so on Drake than at Kendrick.
right? Like the bell ring, I'm coming in. Oh, I know that glass jaw weak boy. Whap! I'm hitting him.
But you see, if
You
that's
know?
the case, in normal people, they're like, "Oh, this side of my jaw is glass. I gotta protect it."
Yeah, and
You
he
see,
doesn't. That's his problem. He
so
don't. He don't. You know, he still moves, and you know, this is a whole nother side thing. Cause I do want to ask this thing. Um, I hope he learns a lesson from this beef.
he
In order,
didn't.
you don't. Yeah, so a lot of people are saying that he might.
No.
Yeah, a lot of people are actually saying that. They say he might just still operate the way he's been moving. But all right. Let me not ask too many questions. I want to say this point first, then I'll come back. When it comes to beef, I feel like we've seen this a lot. Like people have rehashed things forever. Like I don't think we've ever like Pusha T. I think is the only person to have set the bar for new T. And then I don't know if we as people are now like it has to be new T now. I don't know if Pusha's the fault, but I will say he did help and move that bar because he didn't publicly say it himself. So for somebody to come on record and expose you for it, that's wild T. And for it to be true made it wilder, which made it an effective diss track. Right? But prior to that, I was actually doing like beef research, obviously, for this episode. A lot of the beef from back in the day, like LL Cool J versus Cannabis, LL versus Kumo D, they repeated things a lot. They beefed on records and whatever, let's say, especially for LL and the whole Cannabis thing, because then Wineclef got involved and a whole bunch of other people jumped in. They all started like, I don't want to say regurgitating in a negative way, but they all started using story points from the other person's song and going like, oh, like, you know, yeah, you get caught doing this, but they all kind of remixed it in their own way or said it in their own way, and they just focused on making the bars or the line hard, which is why I had personally no issue with Euphoria, because I'm just like, even though we've seen it, if Kendrick could tell me it again in a refreshed way or hit harder with it, I'm fine.
I mean, while I can agree with that, right? But I kind of sort of have to go back to what Big Daddy Kane said. 'Cause I don't know if you watched the whole video. When he was like, "Oh, you know, I can lie, but it's funny. I'm gonna do it."
Yeah.
I feel like
You want him to lie more?
back then, for me, what Big Daddy Kane was saying it's about how you're saying stuff, not necessarily what you're saying, because all rappers are liars.
Mm-hmm.
So, like when you're saying Cool Mo D and LL and all those guys, to me, it was about how they were saying slick stuff. Whether or not it was true, nobody cared. If they're saying it in a way that made me go, damn, that was it.
And that's what I'm saying, yeah.
And yeah, and to your point, with Pusha T exposing T, I think it just speaks to the different eras.
Yeah.
The exposing stuff started in the early 2000s. So I think it's just a product of the era. Because even you look at 50 Cent's beef with Rick Ross, that's how we knew he was a CO. That's how we knew his baby moms was, I think 50 Cent had her in like Maxim or something. And I can't necessarily remember what the beef was about, but I remember like Dipset had a problem with somebody else, and then all of a sudden you start hearing street business on records.
But you know,
So like
see, and then at that point too, like, were those lies though? Do you consider those lies?
I mean, what the Dipset stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not in the streets, so I have no idea. I don't know if it was true or not. So I can't necessarily speak to that stuff.
like that stuff I probably wasn't in tune to with because like it was just rap to me, right? And now as an adult, I could look back and be like, oh shit, he was talking about this motherfucker doing this, doing what? No
Mm-hmm.
way, right?
Yep.
But it not that in particular, those instances disappoint me. What disappoints me is like we can't have, songs or beef like the late 80s in general to 90s, where like I could just design a fly rhyme, right? Like, yeah, like I know Big Daddy Kane say, yeah, we lying as long as it sound cool, but like some people didn't lie, or like they mixed the lies with the truth, right? But I'm
Mm-hmm.
just upset like they can't do that anymore in this day and age, where like it has to be some salacious stuff.
Man, you can't think that after hearing that man say, "I'm your biggest hater."
But that's the thing. I personally, right? I think that was just like theatrics.
Oh, he meant every word of it.
But then the thing is, even if he meant it, like I still don't think that crossed the line. Like I could tell somebody I hate them. I didn't call their mama out no name. I ain't call their
Mm-hmm.
kid out no name. I could just say, yo, I hate you, guy. Okay, like you just know the
Mm-hmm.
person hates you. He ain't saying anything
Okay,
salacious about you. You just know he hates you.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know. Like I would like to still think Kendrick wanted to keep it like that. Like, okay, we hate each other, but let's rap. Let's design fly rhymes and or show me that you a good rapper. Right. And I think, and you kind of quoted this perfectly, and I'm going to use that quote that you said in our text for this moment situation. I think Drake idolizes that 2000 era rap too much, that he does all beef off that rubric, which is why I
Yes.
felt like he needed to hit low blows.
Yes.
So I just think
But
I don't know. I just think personally, opinion, that was dumb of him to think that was the way to go about it with this particular opponent. But now go ahead.
yes. What does this do to the industry slash culture from here on out?
I don't know if we're gonna see a beef as genuine as this. And again, when I say genuine, I don't want to take in context the salacious statements being tossed by each side. Because you know what's funny? People are saying like, "Oh, we haven't seen beef in a while." I'm like, man, people are beefing every day, especially in hip hop. People are beefing every day. It's just that we don't see one just as big as this. Like I feel like these new young rappers are always fighting with somebody, and a lot of them are getting killed. So to say beef wasn't happening is just an incredibly inaccurate statement. But I don't know if we're gonna see one as big as this in a while, right? And in terms of changing the industry, I think if we do end up seeing one, it might get messier than this. I think that they honestly set a standard that is not the best one to set. And in terms of, 'cause I don't know what aspects to tackle that question in terms of like the business, I think whoever needed to make a check off of it made their check. And
How do you make a check off of this beef? I don't.
well,
Didn't they both release these songs on their independent labels?
so Kendrick has a distribution deal where he's his own publisher. He keeps a lot of his royalties, but he licensed the music to UMG in the grand scheme of things. So they still make money on the back end depending on where he puts the music or where they want to license the music to, right? And Drake, on the other hand, legit signed directly to UMG for the whatever $1 million deal that he recently has. So they're making more money off of any Drake drop than any Kendrick drop, essentially. But they're
Mm.
making money on both ends overall. Yeah.
Well, that seems unfair.
Yeah, that's the sad part, and this is why I'm not sure if you saw the video they when they're asking Vince Staples about it, how he feels about it. He said he's
You
like,
know what? I love Vince Staples.
Real quick, so before
That he's a great interview.
you go down that, that's why he was saying, he was like, man, we out here talking about a beef, but we not talking about how they just monopolizing us, and it's true, it's true. Which
I
is
love Vince Staples.
which is why I personally wanted this beef to play out differently. I wanted them to really just make hits against each other, and or just like technically proficient songs. Right. And when I say technically proficient, I mean like raps. Like I wanted them to rap at their top A game level. I wanted, similes, metaphors. I know Drake is real good at metaphors. He's not really good at entendres. So maybe Kendrick would have just OD'd on entendres. Drake would have just had the metaphors and the feeling. And that's what I wanted. Right. And I would like to still believe, right, and I could be wrong, and which is why I wanted it to be one of the debate points at the end of this. I believe a beef can be, I don't want to say necessarily clean in terms of nobody's going to say anything hurtful, but clean in terms of you can make a good music in a beef without having to just get petty and mudsling. Like, if you had the choice of saying, like, oh, your songs ain't good, over saying, well, you beat your wife, I would say the first one is always the appropriate answer. And I thought the beef could just be that over and over in different ways. Because then at the same time, I feel like that would have just propelled the creativity. Because it's like, okay, cool. What can I say to hurt this guy that doesn't cross lines? And it just forces your brain to think.
So you wanted more creativity versus disrespect.
I mean, I didn't mind disrespect. I like, I'm not saying like I wanted blood like all these other people. I'm using your word.
I wanted blood. I wanted blood.
Like,
I want them
I
to go
wanted,
low.
okay, yeah. I wanted blood, but not low blood. Like, I feel like what? Like, the difference between punching somebody in the face as opposed to punching them in the nutsack? Okay, fine. Like, I don't mind the face punch. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they could have said things like euphoria and push-ups, even though push-ups is where, like, the blow really happened. I think those were as far as I wanted it to go. I just wanted more of those two songs. You know what I mean? I like, even though in Euphoria Drake did officially throw the first low blow, if we take that low blow out, I still like push-ups.
I love push-ups, man.
I still like
I still play that song.
That's what I'm saying.
Love that song.
I was hoping it would say that, because when he came with it, I was like, oh, Drake rapping. Even though I was a little, upset about the whole like AI drop and he was being annoying. And
yeah, I didn't like that.
Because when you sent it to me, I was like, man, I don't want to hear no AI, nothing again, man. Like, I'm tired of this. Again, I don't subscribe to what people put on the internet. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's poison. But I didn't think it was real. I didn't want to listen to it until he told me himself it was real. And you were like, yo, you need him to post? Just listen to it. And I only listened to it because of you. And
it was hard.
And the version you sent me was still kind of aight. The one that he officially dropped was way better.
I mean, I don't think so, for the simple fact that he cut out some stuff he said to Rick Ross, and I didn't think he should do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because he just rearranged the whole thing.
I don't know. Like, was that leak intentional? Like, it was just too much.
I think it was.
It was just too much nonsense around it, man. And again, in retrospect, I personally feel like that's where he shot himself in the foot. Like, aside from that, like, let's say like he did mean to drop it. Let's say he just dropped it. It wasn't multiple versions. Then he just dropped on the internet and it was QDC version, or I forgot what it was called. Like, it gave me that feeling of back in the day, which that part I liked about it. But I feel like that was an afterthought to clean up how messy it was. And I didn't like that. So it made me kind of think too, especially in 616 in LA when Kendrick was like, have you ever thought that I have people working for me in OVO? I was like, oh shit, did he mess up this guy's drop? Probably not, but that'll be a funny theory. Cause then all of a sudden, like, I'm like, yo, you have such a secure team, you have all this money, and you still getting leaked? I don't know. You have a studio in your house. How did that get leaked? Somebody hacked your computer? That should be the computer that's not connected to the internet. That should be the computer that's in the
Mhm.
basement. It only has recorded software on it.
The Faraday cage.
You know? I don't know. It's like little moves like that he did the whole beef what got me like a little upset with him because I'm just like, man, why are you moving so sloppy? Like you not like $1 million commodity.
I honestly think you can attribute that to the fact that he just didn't respect the dude. Didn't think he needed to.
You know what I mean? And then I was telling you that too, like it goes back to my point when we were talking about this beef originally when for everything first popped off when Like That came out and we were just speculating where this beef was gonna go. And I was telling you, I was like, man, I don't think Drake is gonna respond and or should respond, right? Now in retrospect, yeah, he shouldn't have responded. But really, I was saying that because I don't know. I just seen him move so sloppily that I just thought he wasn't gonna do it because he knew he was sloppy. But that self-awareness is a bitch.
You know, I blame J. Cole. No, seriously. I blame J. Cole because no, not just the verse, but like think about this, right? If J. Cole I think J. Cole would have done what you said you wanted to see, which is
which is what I want.
Just rhyming.
I agree too.
If he had stuck to that and meant it, we're not talking about this whole Drake thing because then now Kendrick has to go against Drake and J. Cole. Now his time is divided.
Yup.
Now
everybody would be equal.
Exactly.
Yup.
Exactly. This is J. Cole's fault.
Everybody wasn't equal. Like, listen, like, truth be told, I listened to 7 Minute Drill on YouTube. Still not his best song, but I don't think it's as bad as everybody was making it. And again, this could be a hot take, or I don't know, my personal opinion. I feel like the track sounds harder in the mix of all the beef tracks. And then I think it's funny because if you played in the actual order, everything dropped. So if you listen to, you can even start with First Person Shooter if you really want. If you listen to First Person Shooter, you go into Like That, and then you go into 7 Minute Drill, then you go into Push Ups. It sounds like in that sequence, Kendrick was about to get jumped.
Exactly.
In that sequence, it sounds like Kendrick's getting jumped.
Exactly. And also, I don't know if this is true, but I heard a clip from a podcast where they said that Drake was actually at that show where J. Cole apologized.
The lady, right? The lady saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that.
I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but if it is true, could you imagine? This whole thing could have turned out a whole lot different if this man just did what he said he'd do.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm gonna tell you again what I tell you when that J. Cole thing dropped, man. When that song dropped, not the apology, because I didn't even know you were gonna apologize the next day. I was so upset. I'm still kind of hurt, but I get it, because especially with the way these guys low blowed everything, I get staying out of this. But I'm gonna tell you exactly what I said that first time. I would have doubled the hell down. Not like in terms of saying anything salacious, but like I dropped 7 Minute Drill. I'm promoting that song. I'm playing it at the festival, but I'm gonna call Kendrick and be like, "Yo, you my guy. Let's do this." I'm not gonna call him, talk, get disrespectful, or whatever, but I'm calling him and be like, "Yo, listen, you my boy. I heard you. Let's do it." You know, I feel like you could be respectful.
Yes. But also, I think in the apology, that's how he should have handled the apology. He shouldn't have came out and said it publicly. He should have just apologized to Kendrick, to his face or on the phone or whatever, and then call it a rap from there.
Yeah.
Versus coming out and apologizing on stage and all this stuff, because he put a dent in his career. Like he can't say he's the best rapper now.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm not sure you didn't listen to the songs, but apparently, and this could just be people breaking down songs incorrectly, so I don't know, but it is interesting. Some of the verses he is saying these are like slight jabs to J. Cole, like Kendrick is still kicking him on the low.
I wouldn't. You know what? I would encourage it. Cause there ain't nothing J. Cole could do or say. Like, I would be throwing jabs at him from now until the day my career is over. Because
Especially
he
on
not gonna
the
respond. He can't respond. Because if he does respond, I'll be like, remember when you apologized to me?
Do you think he could diss Kendrick now? Do you think they could like re-engage that beef and just have a battle
Nope.
now?
Nope.
You don't think it'd be worth it?
Time for that was over. Was
It's already said and done.
yeah. He can't, because he's already given Kendrick the ultimate trump card.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick, like you were saying, Kendrick can just regurgitate that same point in 5 different ways. You apologize to me because you respect me and my music is better than yours. You said it.
But I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I would like to think he. I don't. I'm not gonna say it's worth it, but I would like to still think he can. Because then, like, let's say you call him up and it's like, yo, listen, I know I apologize to you, but you know what? Like, let's make like an example for the future generation how a good rap beef should be, or a competition without wilding. You know, they make a rubric saying, here's what we won't cross, here's what we're gonna do. You make your best track, I make my best track. We just do this. I think he can do it.
Seem
I just
genuine
don't
to
know
me.
if it's gonna be profitable or, I guess, well received because of what happened. I agree with that with you, but I am hopeful and think they can do it. But it would have to be a lot of heavy lifting on both ends to make it like, listen, you guys are gonna hear this.
To me, the only way J. Cole could re-engage Kendrick is if Kendrick says something wildly out of pocket or says something really low about J. Cole. That's the only, because then that gives him a reason to want to re-engage. And I feel like that's what was lacking in the first place, a reason to engage. So
this man J. Cole clown too, because I'm like, I don't know, like if you didn't think that the bars were worth it, like I don't know why he even. People are saying like, oh, like, because I know people like you were saying like, yeah, he took this shot, but like I don't know, those shots weren't enough for me to want to respond if I was J. Cole. And then let's say I did feel some type of way and I made a song, I would have thought long and hard about dropping it. He came back after the fact talking about like, you know what, I realized this was bad. And I get it, you know, and sometimes you're in the moment, you thinking you're like, fuck, I fucked up. But I don't know, you recorded it, I would have showed it to at least 10 people before I'm like, yo, y'all think I should drop this? I don't know who was in the studio with him that night. And they probably did gas him, right? But I don't know. I felt like from what happened on Like That, I feel like I just caught a stray. And if I'm J. Cole, and I personally don't need to respond to strays.
that's fair.
Because a stray misses. Especially in Like That, it seemed like he was like, nah, I want smoke for your boy. The boy. All right, y'all, that's a wrap on this discussion. Thanks for joining us on today's episode of the Brotherly Mix-Up Podcast.
Yes, thanks for tuning into this round of debates and hot takes. As you can see, despite being brothers, we don't always agree.
Ain't that the truth? But that's what makes it fun, right?
I guess.
Remember, if you love what you heard today, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a rating. Your feedback helps us keep the conversation going.
If you have any burning topics you want us to tackle or speak on, hit us up on social media. We love hearing from people.
That's right. You can find us at the socials listed in the description. We're always down for a good debate.
Until next time, peace.
Peace out.